I heard that some podcasters do like a full 40 seconds. They're like, dude, that's a
What
little
the
extreme.
fuck are you doing
Right?
with 40 seconds?
40 seconds of silence. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Are you trying to account for an HVAC system or something?
What the fuck are you doing with 40 seconds?
I don't know, but that's what they do. They're like, okay. I mean, I've only been giving it like 4 or 5 seconds forever.
You know,
Stay in
some...
place?
Yeah, it's gonna stay in place. Some would be
Okay.
surprised that we actually have a mix track. Some podcasts actually record just themselves and nothing else.
Right?
To me, that's
Right.
insane.
That is insane. It's like, dude, OBS Studio supports multi-track recording. Let's make full use of that, please.
Especially when you're recording remote people. You cannot. Then you have to actually rely on stupid things like let's hit record at the same time.
Yeah, hit
or
record at
let's
the same
clap
time
at
and the
same
fucking
time.
clap.
At
It's
the
like,
same
dude,
time.
Yeah. What's the purpose of the clap when you have the video file served to you as an MKV file with the audio with separate audio track recording built into it?
Even even those who do just audio, what's the point? What's the point of trying to start at the same time when you can just have 2 tracks, and one records everybody and one records you, so you can then sync everybody to one track?
Yeah, people are just overcomplicating it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
so,
the reason why we are recording mix is because I got used to that when I worked in semi-professional production environment.
it's how
so,
I
like,
also. It's
mix,
also how
you have
I
to have
also
it.
always recorded my videos.
Like you have to have mix. That's no brainer for that.
It's also just how I also always have recorded my own videos because it just makes sense in my head brain.
Yeah.
It's just like, why do I need to worry about editing out desktop noises when I can just not have them in the recording?
Yeah. And like, let me tell you a secret. When I record my videos, I actually record audio and video separately.
Do you?
Yeah, I record on my phone separately to recording on my just camera.
Yeah.
To recording of audio, which I do on the microphone on a computer.
I know that if I particularly care about picture quality, because my main camera that you see in like the edited version, is a standalone camera, and I can record to that to get like a better picture quality, but I'm still too fucking lazy to do that.
The reason I do that is because I can.
Yeah.
And I'm used to editing audio. Like I'm used to editing multi-tracking and it's really easy because my phone records audio as well. Yeah, shitty audio, but it's still audio.
Yep.
So I can easily
It's something you can line up with a simple clap.
Just easy line up and that's it.
Yep.
Easily line up and create a sequence and then edit out of that. Again, something I got used to in semi-professional production environment.
Yep. Okay. Showtime.
Yeah, Josh, you have an intro to do.
I do, in fact, have an intro to do. I totally swear that this is not the intro right here.
Cue the music.
Hey guys, welcome to No Tux Allowed. I am your host, Josh. And today, I'm not wearing a white t-shirt, I'm wearing a gray t-shirt, because I do own more than one shirt, I swear. And of course, I brought my big friend here, Bigpod. How's it going?
Hello. Going fine. Today I'm wearing a plain dark green t-shirt.
I was wondering if it had anything on it, because I know a lot of your shirts have like that image really low so that the camera cuts it off,
No,
so sometimes
this
I don't
one
see
is,
it.
This one is pure plain image.
Okay.
Pure plain shirt. Nothing special.
Well, for the YouTube commenters, I read a comment where somebody was amazed that I owned a black T-shirt. I guess I just need to do like a short and post it to the channel or something like that, where I do a closet tour, because I swear I do own multiple T-shirts. I swear I literally do have a closet rack full of them. I just don't wear them because a lot of them are conference T-shirts, and it's just like I don't want to ruin them. I just have like this. It's like that awkward collection thing where it's just like, yeah, I have these. They're conference shirts, and I got them with the badges around the hangers and stuff like that. And I've got a couple other T-shirts with like cool messages. I'm not really a fan of wearing them.
A lot of my plain shirts that I wear, I normally don't wear because, well, I don't want to ruin them, because they are mostly meant for business and special occasions.
Yeah.
So normally I
practical.
only wear like the more casual T-shirts.
And to be honest, with you video watchers, you're actually a minority of our audience. Nobody else, everybody else, a lot of people listen to the audio.
Yeah.
So they don't really understand what our whole fascination over T-shirts is. So it's fine. But anyways, Bigpod, we have a rather somewhat famous guy that passed away recently last week. So David J. Farber, the quoted grandfather of the internet, has passed away at 91 through natural causes. Now, in the event you do not know who David J. Farber is, he's pretty much the guy that taught the people that made the internet itself how to make the internet, or make something like the internet.
Yep.
So, we're talking about like pre-ARPANET days, basically here. This is like a guy that discussed and rallied like groups together on how to get two computers to talk to each other, creating the concept of networks, and communication protocols and so on. He's not really like famous for like any one individual project, but he was working at Bell Laboratories, and he was the guy that was responsible for getting all these developers that we know nowadays to actually make this stuff. So it's just a little quick mention.
Yeah.
But
he was involved in organization of major research networks like CSNet, NSFNet, and NREN, and similar large networks, large research networks, which is pretty important. But probably the most important part is that he was basically one of the teachers who taught the people who then created IP, TCP, and so on to create IP and TCP. So the fathers of internet.
Yeah, which honestly, people like this, we're in a bit of a weird time frame, right? We got like this ubiquitous thing called the internet, and the people that created it are still alive, and you can still talk to a lot of them. And they've always got like such fascinating stories to tell. Like, honestly, like I think there's a series called The Serial Port, where they're talking about like the history of dial-up internet in the United States. And that's actually a bit of a fascinating YouTube channel to watch. Now that I think about it, I think I'll have to see if I can get like a link for like the specific video where they're talking about the whole concept of it was a network device that was used because they were starting to run into fear of running out of IP addresses. So then they put it behind carrier.
NAT.
Oh yeah, NAT.
NAT.
A NAT device or a network access terminal device. Yeah. I'm sorry, I was having a brain fart there.
Network address translation device.
Which that was a fascinating video to watch. I'll have to see if I can find a link for that.
remember, just as like a point of the how old these people are that basically founded what we today call internet. Tim Berners-Lee, the creator of hypertext transfer protocol, is 70 years old.
Yeah, he's basically retirement age.
Yeah, he if he was living where I live, he would be now just 10 years retired. Not that old, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it feels like that we've had the internet for a while, but
to us,
it's impressive.
especially to me, where I'm of the younger generations, this is all like ages ago, but it's still like just 10 years, 10, 15 years before I was born, 20, 25. In that maybe twice my lifetime, or one more lifetime from my current age. Not that old. Like, it seems old, but it's not.
I mean, if you want like a boomer trigger, this bookshelf behind me is organized using the Dewey Decimal System.
Nice. I respect that.
Yeah. So, that's the kind of world that I come from. So let's move on here, because realistically, that's about all we can really mention about him. He is pretty important, but the real story is what comes from the people that this guy quite literally educated.
Yeah.
So, Bigpod, it's time to talk about a rather prominent court case that's actually taking place here in the U.S. This is not a congressional hearing. This is actual court, which could have a massive impact on, the legality of how social media services operate in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah. So Mark Zuckerberg this time had to come around and testify to a jury and explain to a jury, rather than a bunch of old guys in Congress, how Facebook works. And of course, I don't think that this testimony was actually televised, but we've got a couple tidbits from transcripts, and it's pretty concerning. And of course, this is a jury of peers, so of course these people are a lot younger and might actually know a bit about how like Facebook functions. But this litigation does not involve, just Meta. It's also pulling in YouTube, the Instagram, which I owned by Meta, and a lot of these other prominent ones. I think that even TikTok has a representative there too. And they're treating this as like a bellwether trial for about 1,500 other civil lawsuits against these tech corporations here in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty big. And the CNN article that I have linked in the show notes is comparing this to like the tobacco trials from back in the early 90s here in the US.
Yeah.
And
apparently they even are using same kind of language in regards to social media compared to tobacco industry. The same kind of language that was used in the tobacco industry trials.
Yeah, and by using this language, they're completely avoiding like anything that would point that these social media services can use from like Section 230, which, if you don't understand like what I mean by Section 230, Section 230 refers to like the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which is a law in the United States. It's basically copyright law in the United States. Now,
DMCA for all of you who may know the shorthand better.
Yeah. Which Section 230 is a law that basically says that whatever people post on like a provider's server, the server provider is not responsible for.
Yeah.
That's basically what Section 230 says. But in this case, a lot of Facebook servers are owned by Meta.
Yeah. Basically for just a bit of explanation. Section 230 essentially protects hosters, like including two of us,
Yep.
From the fact that whatever is uploaded, no matter if it is illegal or not, as a hoster, you are not responsible for that for that content, and the actual uploader is responsible.
Which, to be honest, it even extends a
good.
bit beyond us too, as well as
Yeah.
from like our cloud host, which is currently Akamai for
Yeah.
the Tuxbase server. It protects Akamai from whatever we put on their server, because you got to remember this is a virtual machine that we're renting from them.
Yeah, it
Now,
basically enables a lot of social media, any kind of cloud storage,
well,
anything similar like that. It enables and protects hosters from basically being sued into oblivion for any kind of copyright issues, for anything similar.
yeah. Now, the reason why they're able to skirt around this is because they're not talking about like the content on Facebook, but how
Yes,
Facebook operates.
they are talking about how the sites are made, how they operate, in that being problematic or quote unquote addictive.
Yep,
So
and
basically the design of websites, how you use them, that being addictive, not the content itself.
yeah, and of course, according to like the Instagram chief who said in testimony that he does in fact believe that social media use, even up to 16 hours a day, can be considered problematic, but he does claim that it's not clinically addictive, which the then brings to the mind of like the several hundred studies that have been done into like these social media services and the concept of mental addiction. And of course, I did go through college, and my roommate was a psychology major, and you know who was offering him jobs? It was
I know.
nothing medical. It was social media services and video game companies.
Yes, yes. Two groups that basically all they do is they need to figure out how to make you want either buy microservices
Yep.
or stay longer so you see more ads. How to tune the algorithm, what to show you next, how to place the buttons so you're less likely to leave, and stuff like that. That's all that goes into UI design of such systems.
Yeah, so this is definitely something to keep a watch on,
Yeah, this
because
could be interesting.
the big reason for this case to get like such news is it originated from a kid. So of course there's gonna be this is of course a child law, which always a big deal in U.S. media, because sometimes they stretch
Yeah.
a little bit too far.
Yeah,
But in this case though, it's not like something that legislators are talking about. This is something that the courts are talking about, which means that we need to give this extra care.
yeah.
But in
And
the meantime,
all
let's
of
talk.
this before all of this comes out about 40 years after a leak of meta internal documents by a whistleblower that supposedly company knew its platforms could be harmful.
My chair fell. Your curse of the cheap chair. Okay, so let's move away from Facebook and these social media companies to a different social media company.
Yeah.
It's time we talk about Discord, because heaven forbid, I've been hearing a lot about Discord for the past week, so I guess we should probably talk about Discord. So, in the event you do not know what Discord is, which that's kind of hard, Bigpod, can you explain generally what Discord is?
Discord is an instant messaging service geared towards gamers and larger communities.
That's the short of it.
Yeah.
Which is basically what it is. Now, Discord is probably at this point the most popular messaging service that is used today that I know of. This is, of course, not taking into account like WhatsApp or something like that.
Yeah.
But
let's say this. It's more geared towards large groups of people who do not personally know each other, unlike something like WhatsApp or Signal, which is more meant for like friend groups, family groups, and one-on-one conversations.
Yeah, so we're talking about like large group communication.
Yeah,
which we do have a Discord server, so and we plug it at the end, towards the end of each episode. At just tuxbase.com/discord. That's how you get there. But what they've done is that Discord has decided that we need to roll out age verification because that's a hot button topic going on in the United States right now. And of course,
and they already did do that for certain regions on the basis of like for those who they think they are younger than certain age. But now they apparently are going to basically put it worldwide for everybody to attest they are of legal age.
Yeah, and the method that they're using to verify the age is extremely invasive. Because of course Discord isn't going to do like the age verification themselves. They're going to contract out to somebody else.
Yeah.
Which in this case,
there have been few groups they've contracted over the last few months, but the one that it's most talked about is Persona, which is connected with
Palantir,
with several firms of questionable repute, like the shall we say intelligence giant Palantir.
Yeah, now in the event you don't know what Palantir group does, think about like facial recognition cameras that are being deployed by like law enforcement authorities, which falls into a very, very bad part of like legal gray area.
Yeah.
So, this not only feels privacy invasive, but it kind of just is. Now, of course, that's if you upload, say, like a face of yourself to like Discord for like their age verification. But they're also using an AI bot to read through like account message history to just build like an estimated mental age.
Yeah.
Which is why you probably haven't gotten the prompt to prove like you're an adult. But they're using this AI bot to message your account history to kind of just like come up with a really well-educated guess on how old you are.
Yeah.
Which means that
but
if you're...
at one point they plan to basically ask anybody anyway.
Yep.
But like, and at that point they will, if you do not agree to give them either your ID or your face scan, you will be subject to limitations of operation, like less, like disabled access to certain channels, disabled voice functionality, and so on.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about the article that we're posting here, because obviously the community has responded, and people are fleeing Discord and switching to other services. The most popular one seeming to be TeamSpeak. Now, I have not used TeamSpeak in a very long time.
I have never used TeamSpeak.
But I have gotten around to like pulling up a couple YouTube videos of people reviewing TeamSpeak, and it's actually not looking like a terrible application. Like, it seems to actually be able to do most of the things that Discord does.
Probably.
Which makes sense. They are basically a direct competitor. But TeamSpeak has announced that, of the servers that they host, many of them have reached capacity. So, they're running out of servers. Thankfully, TeamSpeak, you can actually run your own server.
Yeah.
If you really want to. So, obviously, you need to pay for that, but it's technically possible for you to spin up your own server. And then uh, Matrix.org has announced that the official Matrix.org Synapse server has become overloaded. So, which, for everybody that has a Matrix.org account, which I signed into mine for like the first time in a while, everything's just running incredibly slow.
Yeah, but the great thing about Matrix in general is that it is federated. So plopping your own server on a Raspberry Pi or on a small cloud instance is easy, especially with some of the new stuff they created, like ESS Community Edition, where you get a lot more than just that. You can easily have you and your friends have your own login server and even your own like hangout spaces, which aren't encumbered by other servers being overloaded.
Yeah, which thankfully TeamSpeak has enough like liquid capital that they've actually been able to like spin up additional resources, but eventually
Yeah,
that's going to run out
yeah,
if this continues, because it turns out that there's really just that many people going moving away from Discord. And of course, the big benefit of these various IM clients is that you don't have to sign up for just one of them and just move to one of them. You can just sign up for a bunch of them. So we got a lot of people just hopping around in general too. And of course,
yeah.
Bigpod, you and I had a chat about it, and you're currently working on deploying your own Synapse server on your network
Yeah.
that we might just publish ourselves, because
Yeah.
it's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, first we're gonna trial it among ourselves just to see whether we like it, how it works, and report on that, whether some of the issues either of us had over the years have been solved, and then we're gonna see about moving community to also include Matrix.
Yeah. That said, we are one way or another. I'm probably going to keep the Discord server active, because I don't
Yeah.
really expect like Discord to die. There's still going
Yeah.
to be a lot of people on Discord.
Exactly.
But the biggest benefit that Matrix has is bridging. So I can literally have the Matrix chat synchronize with the Discord.
Yeah.
Theoretically, we haven't actually done it yet.
Yeah, and just I just looked up the numbers a bit, like on the open source side, like the kind of people who wouldn't just move to TeamSpeak, who would probably move to Matrix or something similar. For example, Universal Blue Crowd, Bazite channel has about 30,000 people joined.
Yeah, which is tells you just like how these community migrations are working out.
Yeah, how much like this? How many people could go for a single migration if somebody moved their community, and yeah, other channels in the group of Universal Blue have a lot less people. But another example, just out the top of my head, since I can see it in my Discord, we have Fedora. It has many thousand people. Let's see if I can find how many of them are offline, because there are 3,000 just online.
Yeah, apparently I'm not in the Fedora Discord. Okay.
Yeah, no, I can't. There is so many people online that the actual list of members is bugging. It doesn't show offline people. It doesn't actually show every online person. That's how many people are joined.
Yeah, that said, I am aware that there are some pain points with like Matrix itself. Like, in order to create an account, if you don't already have an account, you need to understand like GPG keys at least a little bit, because Matrix is an encrypted by default kind of service.
Yeah.
At least for user accounts, which makes sense, but the biggest tagline that it has is all about security. So it can lead to like a couple headaches just for the onboarding, which all these other services, for the most part, such as we talked about, like setting up like Rocket Chat or Mattermost as well. It's just simple account stuff, and you don't need to worry about keys. But the biggest benefit of Matrix is that in order for you, our listener, to join our Matrix server, you don't have to sign up on our server. You can just sign up on somebody else's server and then come to us.
Yeah.
Through the magic of Federation.
Yeah, you are not blocked, or you don't require 10 accounts if your friends are on 10 different servers.
Yep, it's one account that you can use everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is the fantastic part about the Fediverse. So, let's move on to our big topic for today, Bigpod.
Yeah.
We have a group that published a rather interesting article about Ubiquity. Now, this article that we have linked in the show notes has been passed around quite a bit. It's making a bit big news because the company
and it's important to note it's already a month-old article.
Yep. So so obviously it's circulating around, and the reason why we haven't really talked about it is because we were talking about it amongst ourselves, and really just looking to see where this went.
Yeah.
But I think that you and I probably have a bit of a unique argument on this here. So, the name of the article is Ubiquity is the U.S. tech enabling Russia's drone war in Ukraine. Because, it turns out that a lot of the networking equipment that's being used in Russia is Ubiquity
especially
equipment.
for the long-range wireless communication appears to be Ubiquity.
Yeah. Lighted, we're not going to talk about the war itself. We're just going to talk about the networking equipment that is being used here. But they list a bunch of different bullet points, and I do recommend that you go through and read it. But let's talk about like what they're trying to ask for. What they're asking for is Ubiquity to have like an off switch on their devices.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember that Ubiquity is a U.S. company, and the U.S. has a current sanction on Russia, so that U.S. companies are technically not supposed to sell directly to Russia.
Yeah, if that is happening, that is a problem, a huge one.
Yeah. Now,
problem is that as we're about to tell you, Ubiquity is one of the few companies in this enterprise prosumer space which doesn't have the so-called enterprise sales pipeline.
Yeah. Now, when we talk about the enterprise sales pipeline, we're talking about how I'm talking generally about like Cisco as an example.
Cisco, Aruba.
Yeah.
What else is there? Like few of these. Like
the biggest name in the space is Cisco.
Yes.
Where you contract with Cisco directly to get the Cisco equipment in your data.
You talk with their salesperson or one of their basically highly integrated implementers.
Yep.
And they do everything for you, or you talk with Cisco and they basically know everything about you before you even get their equipment.
Now, we do know that you can go to Ubiquity's website and be able to buy products direct from Ubiquity, but here's the big difference between Cisco and Ubiquity. Cisco does not sell through distribution channels. Ubiquity does.
Also that, and more importantly, Cisco isn't really a web store. On Ubiquity, you can go to a web store, and I can order myself there from let's say their UISP line, which is primarily meant for ISPs, and I can get one of their switches, which one of them is actually right on their on shelf. I could grab it.
Which, if you're watching the video version or audio version, he's currently off to go grab it right now.
Here we go. This is their Edge Switch 10X. It's part of, as far as I remember, this is part of their their UISP line is actually a very old product, but it's essentially like a 8-port switch that isn't from Unify line, essentially. It is like, it has its own web interface. It doesn't require something like a...
it doesn't require like the network controller or anything like
Yeah,
that?
it is meant to be like completely standalone, just like most of their long-range antennas. It is very like nice device that I actually replaced with a Unify switch.
Yeah.
And it's a great little thing.
Yeah.
I really liked using it for months. I was using it, or years really, and this is like great device. And I wouldn't be able to buy it if it had enterprise sales sideline. Where did I get it? At a nearby tech store.
Yeah. And that's the benefit
That's the other part.
Yeah, that's the benefit of distribution channels. So, let me talk about like my experience from like working in manufacturing, right? I work for a factory. I've made products for the factory, and the factory does not sell directly to like say the store shelf that you buy from, because you know your local mom and pop tech shop probably does not have enough leverage to, you know, call up say Lenovo in this case and ask Lenovo for just 5 laptops. Lenovo wants to sell 500 laptops.
Yeah.
Now, what your mom and pop shop is actually buying from is a distribution warehouse. I don't know of like too many U.S. tech distributors, but so I'm gonna pull from like the trading card game space, because I know a couple of those. So like Potomac Distribution, based out of Pennsylvania. They are a warehouse that buys stuff direct from the manufacturers that then they just sell back to retail store shelves.
Yeah,
that's all they do.
Yeah, and if you're from Europe, you're more used to getting like your stores getting from distributors, because who else will get them from? They don't really get them from like the actual manufacturer. But when you see listed of 2-3 distributors on actual paper that you get with the products and stuff like that, that's the kind of distributors we're talking about. But you can also have like more mom and pop shops or tech stores that are also can act as distributors to end customers instead of corporate customers like tech stores and stuff like that.
Yeah, and of course we can also talk about like the space that Amazon consumes in this too, because Amazon is technically a distributor as well.
Yeah,
it's just that you're buying mostly directly from the distributor.
It's a to consumer distributor.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to figure out like the space that Amazon, Walmart's, and those big chain stores go into, simply because they're big enough they can just do that. Now, and because of that means that, you know, Ubiquity equipment is available for purchase in Russia, because, you know, a distributor might be in an area where they can buy from the U.S. and then sell to Russia.
Yeah, or they can be bought by whether a Russian national or even local in a third country, and then just transferred to Russia or whatever.
Or what's even more likely, distributor just sees dollar signs in their eyes, buys the equipment from Ubiquity, and then just sells to Russia illegally.
Somebody in some I don't know, Middle Eastern country, some distributor in Middle Eastern country saw somebody purchase a pallet of some of their Air Max or whatever antennas.
Yeah.
Will they go much beyond just looking at, that is a lot of money, let's sell?
Yeah, so let's talk about like what this group called Hunter Brook is really trying to push for. They want an off switch that Ubiquity controls, so they could just turn off a device anywhere.
I was wrong. It's not Air Max, it's Air Fiber. And these are not actually that expensive. We're looking at for the full kilometer plus XG, Air Fiber 60 XG, we're talking about just $1,000 through their own way, through their own web store.
Yeah. Now, what Ubiquity has done for like sanction compliances is that if you have an IP address that's Russian, you can't really pull in like firmware updates because you know legally Unify can't distribute them directly to you. So the technical ability to have an off switch does exist.
Yeah, but they would have to. From what I've been since I've been researching this a bit, from what I found out, there is no known kill switch in Ubiquity products as of this moment.
Which is also which also means that Ubiquity, which is very popular in like the prosumer space. So like the people that actually have network racks and stuff like that in their houses, like
me,
the two of us.
Yeah, the people like us, people like small office small office and home office style people. So
you and I, we appreciate we appreciate that kind of feature because we can just use that device forever. Even if it's no longer in the support cycle, we can just continue to use it because there's no promise. There is no promise from Unify that they're going to, brick our device because they don't want to support it anymore.
And more importantly, the device is our own, which we open source people, of course, actually quite like. That when we buy something, it's actually our own device, not still essentially owned by Ubiquity.
Yeah, so we generally like Ubiquity, and I've been coming around to the idea of buying Ubiquity equipment, especially when one day Bigpod was singing the praises of Ubiquity, and just like he's being a better salesman than Ubiquity themselves to me.
I think Ubiquity is just like us. Thinking of us as salesmen and instead of like doing it themselves, because remember, Ubiquity is actually a pretty small company for the space they're playing in. We're talking about like more than 10 times less employees than companies like Cisco.
Yeah. Now, of course, it's Hunter Brook has a bit of a history of doing this kind of thing, though, where it's like they find a company. They make a big stink about it. And then they wind up filing like lawsuits. They've done some good things in the past.
So let's talk about Hunter Brook. Who they are, because for us they were an unknown people. I knew of them for other things, but I didn't know of them as this.
You didn't know them by name.
I knew some people who were connected with them, specifically on the social media formerly known as Twitter, now X. They have some prominent accounts in certain spaces. But more I researched Hunter Brook, more I was questioning their motives and what they are actually looking for in reporting this.
Yeah, so
especially the way they report it and about what they report. So, Josh, you wanna lead us into who Hunter Brook is and what they do?
So, like the easiest way that I can talk about Hunter Brook is I more or less think of them as like media attack dogs. They make a big stink about a thing, usually post an article about it, where they actually seem to make a surface level sensible argument, because their big idea is to sell their argument to us, the general populace, so that we can support them and call for things for change. But if you look behind what they're saying here, just read what they're saying and then look to see what they're invested in.
Yeah. So here's the thing. When we say Hunter Brook, there are actually three companies by that name. First one we are talking about right now is Hunter Brook Media, which is the media arm of this octopus, we could say.
Yep.
The second arm, the investment, is Hunter Brook Capital, an hedge fund that does investments based on Hunter Brook Media reporting, and then there is apparently a new leg or new arm in this group called Hunter Brook Law, which I don't know much about, so I'm not going to comment much. But apparently there is some litigation it is involved in, or was involved in the past. But primarily we're going to talk about Hunter Brook Capital and Hunter Brook Media when we talk about Hunter Brook.
Yeah. Now, if you read like their About Us page, they do say that Hunter Brook Capital will not interact with like the newsroom at all. But if you watch like investments, because technically Hunter Brook Media is classified as a 501c3, Hunter Brook Capital is not. This is the important part. So
what is 501c3?
Charity.
Okay.
Yeah, nonprofit charity.
Huh.
That's what it means.
Yeah.
And of course you have different classifications as nonprofit, but 501c3 is charity. They do the thing because they want to do the thing. That's really it. They not necessarily like say they do the thing because they want to capitalize on doing the thing, which is like what 501c4 is. But that's how Hunter Brook Media operates. Yeah, but if you watch, but I looked on the stock market to see what Hunter Brook Capital is investing in, and I drew a couple lines between a couple of the articles that they've posted and their investment tracks.
Yes, makes sense.
Yeah.
Because based on my research, they only invest in things that Hunter Brook Media talks about. Okay, so another important note is that I've been also looking at other articles by the Hunter Brook team on what they reported in this vein, and I did notice that during the article about Ubiquity, they pointed out that Starlink had equal amount of problems with use by Russians. But what I didn't find is any standalone article about it on Hunter Brook website. Why could it be, Josh?
Well, I did mention like media attack dog syndrome. Maybe they don't want to, pick a fight with Elon.
It's either that, or remember, Starlink is a brand owned by SpaceX. SpaceX hasn't yet had an IPO. Could that also be a reason? Because if you don't have an IPO, if you're not a publicly traded company, how can you short that stock? Or how can how can a capital hedge fund arm do anything with that stock if it's not available to be traded?
Yeah, I don't think they can. Not unless they have like some kind of insurance deal or whatever. But
But I don't think they would go that route, really.
No, I don't think they're going to go that far, because that could lead to some really massive legal ramifications. Yeah. Now, Hunter Brook law is a bit more cancerous to like try to track, because you got to go to like individual courts and be able to just do like a Control F search for them, which there's a lot of different courtrooms in the United States, and I'm not willing to go down that rabbit hole right now.
Yeah. So it is also important to know that they do at least basic due diligence, the media side of basic due diligence, even under like the primary blurb of the article. They do say that based on Hunter Brook Media's reporting, Hunter Brook Capital is short the stock of Ubiquity and long a basket of comparable securities at the time of publication.
Yeah,
to me the read is that they were already shorting by the time the publication was made, which could be a question of whether they did it because they were preparing the article, or they prepare the article because of the short position.
Yeah.
But
Now,
I'm not saying either one is true. This is just my guess on how they wrote it. If they I would implore them to actually correct the statement to showcase what is actually the case, because I am actually interested and I do want to know which is the case, and because this could be a bit of questionable in my opinion.
yeah, delighted. We have not asked them for comments on like
Yeah.
anything that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
But
Which you might hear about their comments in future episodes.
yeah, you might.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about the unique case behind Ubiquity, because they are a publicly traded company, but their stock is not what you would assume to be
Going
from a
up.
publicly traded company.
Yeah.
Because, it turns out that Robert Pera, the guy that runs Ubiquity,
Yeah,
owns...
the owner, the founder. Just so you know, he is ex Apple employee. Apparently, his ex Apple employee worked under Steve Jobs, was basically fed up with how much they could do with their tech but aren't doing. So he went and created his own company.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
why a lot of cues from like design and just things like that seem very Apple-ish, as well as pricing can be a bit of Apple-ish, or at least Apple-inspired. But unlike Apple, there is one difference: the open ecosystem. It is trying to create basically any device you have access to internal like software and so on. So that is at least tiny bit different than Apple. But yeah, he was at least working under Jobs and came from Apple. So that's a bit about Robert Pera. And fun fact, currently he's, I believe, youngest owner of an NBA team. So take that as you will. So you have all the available information, which means you can hate him or not hate him how much you want.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit here about like his ownership stake of Ubiquity. He owns 93% of the stock.
Yes.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So
basically
shorting
he owns the whole thing.
Yeah, he owns so much of a majority. I don't even think that they can legally, like, investors can even legally sue him for like not keeping like the best, for like keeping profitability in mind.
So what? Will they sue in his name that his name, he wasn't keeping his name in best
Yeah.
doesn't
So
work.
he's got so much ownership percentage that he can more or less operate Ubiquity like it's a private company, but it's actually publicly traded. So we've got that. But
some
here's
of the
best
7%, we also need to remember that there is in the 7% that other people own, there are other insiders and family and people who own Ubiquity stock because they love the company. So
that's
we do
true.
not know how much of that actually other percentages, which some of that is also institutional owners. So we're talking about investment firms and like long holders, like 401ks and companies like BlackRock and Vanguard. They also hold significant percentage of those 7%. So we're probably talking about 1% of actual stock that is movable or moving at any day.
Yeah, so let's talk about some timelines here. I can't find when Hunter Brook first started shorting the Ubiquity stock.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, basically, since this article published, Ubiquity shot up $200.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they weren't doing so hot. And and it's important also to note that last year, quarter 3 of last year, I think Q3 would be August. So that's Q3, right?
Yeah, August would be Q3.
Ubiquity started a buyback program, which means any stock they buy gets retired, so it disappears from the pool. So at any point, the actual stock number is actually just shrinking the
Yeah.
available stock. So at the end, there may only really be institutional owners and insiders like friends, family, and long haul owners who are more just owning the stock than actually like trading it.
Yeah. Now, of course, if you're looking at Ubiquity stock, you have to keep in mind that Ubiquity is a networking equipment company,
Yeah.
and we're going into the Christmas season where retail sales of that kind of product typically do go down
Yeah.
because consumers are instead investing more in like Christmas gifts. So, yeah. So, don't be looking at like Ubiquity stock to like shoot through the roof in the first and last quarters of the year because it's always a bit of a slump for that kind of product.
Well, it did shot up in first quarter of the year.
Well, yeah, it did shoot up in the first quarter because of the buyback thing. So keep that in mind. Also, you have to remember that stock price does not mean if company is actually successful or not because
Yeah, you have to look at other things
yeah.
like actual income and how much of that income is actually a pure profit.
Yeah. So we've also got to talk about like how like other networking equipment is used in this too, because
yeah,
I've
it isn't
seen
just
multiple reports.
Starlink and
because
Ubiquity. Remember,
we could talk
they,
about
they're
DJI,
probably
MikroTik.
Yeah, MikroTik. They probably use MikroTik since MikroTik is really the only other player in the open networking space. We can say the switching equipment is even more open, and they have less view into it than Ubiquity. Ubiquity at least has some view by you seeing where you connect from if you access through the cloud platform. Whereas MikroTik doesn't even have that because of their no touch policy. Essentially, they do not want to have anything to do with you once you buy their equipment.
And I don't blame MikroTik for that.
Terms. Yes, it is also important to know that while yes, Ubiquity has, since I just remember that Ubiquity has their basically their portal at unify.ui.com. It is essentially just a front end that is JavaScript, and then all the communications happen between your machine and the actual equipment, specifically the cloud key, not through proxies at Unify end. So they actually cannot see what settings you're changing, anything like that. And they do have some telemetry, but it is very basic from what I understand. And what was bigger and was opt-in, which still was opt out without ability to be opted out at some point, but then got opt out because people actually complained, and they did what buyers wanted.
Yeah, the trade-off.
Remember,
there is a trade-off if you're selling yourself on MikroTik right now. I just want to put this disclaimer in. If you buy a switch from MikroTik, you have to configure the switch before you put it into use, because the switch by default does not work.
Yes,
there is a tax to MikroTik.
You have to understand switches a bit more than for what you understand Unify. Remember, MikroTik is configured primarily through either console or this thing called Winbox, which if you haven't done Winbox yet, I highly recommend. You may actually be thankful command line exists, because that thing is so old school and horrible that it's really sad. That's why I went with Unify gear, Ubiquity, not MikroTik, despite MikroTik being European, which would be more preferable to me, but I just do not want to deal with Winbox. when the amazing software that is Unify control plane exists. And yes,
Yeah.
it makes configuration so much easier, so much more seamless. And allows a lot of power despite how easy it is. And again, still allows for you to go and access the hardware directly and use SSH to edit the configuration. Just like MikroTik, Arista, or Cisco.
Yeah, so there's more than just Ubiquity in this space. It's just Ubiquity. The big benefit of Ubiquity is that you buy the device,
UI.
you buy the cloud, you buy the device, you plug it in, and most of the time the defaults are just sane enough that it just works out of the box.
Yeah.
And you can
And
log
when you
into
need to
the
set
UI
it up,
and
all you need is a cloud key. You plug it into the switch, and you can now access the cloud key. And more importantly, it also has local mode, also known as local only mode,
yep,
where you need to be in the same network, but doesn't touch Unify servers at all. And more importantly, it also has no cloud connectivity requirement, which means you don't have to actually keep it online or connected to internet for check-ins, which is a big issue for them probably, because that means they don't have anything in regards to cloud product keys, which is one of their principles. No product keys. They don't have subscriptions, which means if I do not connect it to internet, even if they had a kill switch, they couldn't kill the device because it's not connected to internet.
Yeah, these are features that people generally enjoy, and also makes
This is features we buy Ubiquity for.
Yeah,
Let's be real. This is why we buy Ubiquity.
Yeah, and why they dominate the market like they do.
Yeah. Like that's why. I don't know what else to say about this. Like that's why they dominate the market, because it is literally you own the device.
Yeah. Thankfully, the Hunter Brook Media does give like a very good selling point for buying Ubiquity. They quote literally in their article. Let's see. A Ukrainian communications officer estimating that 80% of Russian radio bridges that they observed in the battlefield were using Ubiquity because Ubiquity is made for regular people, and it's basically plug and play. With tons of tutorials on YouTube, there is effectively no real alternative in that space. Which
yes,
there are fairly real alternatives, because we got companies like Eero as well as TP-Link's Omada line and a couple others, but they don't have
but a lot of these things require either cloud connectivity or some sort of like cloud check-in product keys, or for some features even a subscription.
Or in the case of TP-Link, they're extremely Chinese.
Yeah, but not Ubiquity. That's also like all we talked about in this last bit is why they are literally perfect for prosumers and enterprise, but also to be used by, shall we say, bad actors.
Yep.
It is a balance. We have to see that for every positive action some company do, it's gonna have some negative reaction somewhere else. We just have to be ready for those trade-offs. And we could talk about some, shall we say, like historical examples of this. Like, Josh, I don't know if you ever read, but apparently most of the titanium that was for SR-71 program, was bought out of Soviet Union.
I mean, it's
during
possible.
during the height of Cold War.
Yeah, I mean that's entirely possible because two countries are very antagonistic towards each other. Does not mean that they buy. Does not necessarily mean that they don't buy from each other.
More importantly, like it was bought through network of shell companies, and uh, and actual false pretenses on why it was buying. Apparently, there is a story of they were many of Europe. They were pretending to be European companies buying titanium for pizza ovens.
Okay.
Does that remind you of a bit of this? Shell
sure
companies, pretenders saying they are buying this for whether it be some other use case or maybe not even saying that, and just distributors saying that. That's sounds very much like Ubiquity case, or at least similar enough. And I have a second one that I would like to mention. Josh, do you know what a technical is?
A technical?
Yes, a technical.
It depends on the context here, but so let's hear.
We are talking about military in war, so there is only one context I'm thinking of, only one item.
So, we could be using Ubiquity, the Ubiquity boxes in our shipping distribution network to act as a shell for technical compliance on something?
No. Technical, specifically this, it's a name of a military vehicle.
Oh.
Which is in reality a pickup truck with a gun on top of it.
Oh, that's the kind of technical we're talking about.
Yes,
okay.
That kind of technical. So this is a very, very used type of movable, fast-firing artillery used by low-end governments and certain organizations, and it is a lot of time, at least in past, used to be made through by buying from third parties in Europe and US, buying whether it be Toyota Hiluxes or similar, and converting them by bolting on something like a 50 cal or something like that.
Yeah, I remember hearing Syrian war coverage when a certain terrorist group was running around in Toyota pickup trucks.
Yes, and in the back there was standing a guy with a rifle bolted to it. That's a technical.
Okay.
So should we be attacking those companies as well for enabling war on terror? For enabling the other side of war on terror, because their products are so good, they are used by those guys to make war fighting vehicles.
Yeah.
It's a stretch. So maybe we shouldn't be so harsh on Ubiquity either.
Maybe not. I know that in comparison to a lot of the other media coverage that's been going on about this group, our take is a little different from the majority of them. Yeah. But I don't think that we're big enough to really worry about it. But at this point, we kind of exhausted the topic. So
yeah. But before we do that, we're gonna also say that if they are complicit, well, they should have what's coming for them.
Yeah.
Logically, they are breaking the law. But if it's only third parties.
But anyways, I think that's going to be about it for the show. So, if you would like to send us an email, because you want to comment on a couple things, but you don't want to go through Discord because Discord is doing nasty things. You can send an email to contact@tuxbase.com, which is the OG federated service that you can use on a computer. Email is the oldest communication standard that we have for person-to-person communication. Not computer-to-computer, but person-to-person.
Yeah.
So so that standard has been around forever. It's free. It's open source. No one entity controls it. Although three of them are really trying hard. But if you don't want to go through Discord, that's how you can contact us, because we don't have an alternative set up for it yet. And of course, our email does work, because I got like 30 some odd emails saying that, hey, shit's down and back up and then down and back up. Which tells me that it's working.
Working as expected.
Yep, working as expected. So, and of course, if you would like to join the Discord, I mentioned it earlier, tuxbase.com/discord. That's where you can talk to each other currently. When we come up to to other things too, we'll just have that also in a link. We'll have like tuxbase.com/ probably like social or community, and that'll just be like a page that links to all the different communities that we might accidentally spin up, because that's the benefits of Federation. And of course, if you would like to support our efforts in our wonderful internet, I'm going to call it independent journalism at this point, but really we're just two guys talking about tech, and you really enjoy our show. Patreon.com/NoTuxAllowed. That's where you can give us a couple dollars. We get you back a higher quality audio feed, because for some people that really matters. But we will also sometimes put in some bonus content in there too. And of course, Bigpod, we have our own YouTube channels.
Yeah.
Yep.
YouTube.com/@Bigpod and YouTube.com/@TenLJ. And both of us should probably record some content, and we need somebody to yell at us to actually get it done.
I have content recorded and uploaded to YouTube. I just can't publish it because questionable stuff right now.
Oh. Yeah. I have scripts written. I just have to record it.
Okay, well, I've got more progress than you. I just can't really hit the publish button for super secret mission purposes. But anyways, guys, we're going to see you next week.
Goodbye.